Test. Test, test. All right, can anybody hear me? All right, guys, can you see the group chat on the side? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, guys, so welcome. We are going to go over some DSLR Remote Pro. We are live. We're using Google Hangouts, so I'm not sure if you can actually interact with this with the links I sent. I'm not positive, but I tried. Okay, so here we go. All right, so what I have here is I have DSLR Remote Pro for Windows. I am running version, let's see, I'm running version 3.3.1. So this version is a little out of date. I just haven't updated anything yet. I did purchase the latest versions before they all went up in price. But okay, so let's get started. So typically the first thing that I would do when you install DSLR Remote Pro is you go to File, and we'll hop down to Preferences. Okay, File, Preferences. All right, so under File and Preferences, the main thing that we want to see here is the directory in which to save images. So this is the directory you specify on where all of your images are going to be saved. I typically save all my images to my Dropbox. And then I have a couple different computers in my Dropbox. So I like to save them all to my Dropbox. You can see here I've got a lot of event folders already. So whenever I take any sort of photos at all, they're all going to be saved to Dropbox, Dslr, event photos. The other thing you might want to change, and this could possibly help your SEO, is what your file name is for your photos. So I could call this like photo booth and then underscore, and it'll add a number to it. Or I could call it, you know, photo booth. Since I'm in St. Louis, I could do photo booth St. Louis. I'm not an expert with SEO, but these just help you. These will just help you name your events if you're at a specific venue, or you know, just however you want to name them. Okay, so then the other features under here, a lot of these features in here, they're all accessible with these short links up here. So I'm not going to go over a lot of this stuff. Under camera, the main thing that you need to notice under camera is you have connect to camera and auto reconnect to camera. You know, if you have camera not connected, like it says up here, obviously I'm not connected to the camera. I would have to come down here and click connect to camera. Or if I had auto connect checked, I believe it's going to say not connected, and it's going to check for the camera maybe every 10 seconds or so. I do have a camera hooked up. I don't have a battery in it. I'm going to throw a battery in it here shortly and get it going. Under the View tab, the main thing that you might need to work with under the View tab are your landscape and portrait and inverted. So if you are going to do some portrait photos, this is where you can tell Breeze, hey, I'm going to be shooting with the camera in portrait mode. So these are good to know. And then help is a great resource. If we pull up contents here, there's actually a whole section on photo booth shooting. So this is, I've used this tons of times. There is a keyboard shortcut here where if you do have a wireless keyboard at your event, you can print this out and laminate it and hold on to it. And you could fully run your booth from the keyboard. You don't even need a touch screen. Or you could run your booth from a clicker or from a mouse. So this help section is invaluable. I go through this thing quite a bit, and I always end up seeing something new every time. Okay, so those are the basics. So we are going to, I guess, dive on into it and set something up. Okay, first things first, we'll just go with the first tab here. We have printer setup. So if I click on printer setup, what I want to do is I have a quick link here to my control panel, devices, and printers. And if I scroll down here, because I don't tend to put my printer in the same USB, and that sometimes causes me to have copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. In this instance, I have my Hi-Ti 5010L, and it's copy 2. I'm going to click on it. It's going to say 0 documents in my queue. If I right-click and go to printing preferences, I hop under papers, and here I have 6x4 or 6x2 with 2 prints, and also portrait and landscape. So this is what's going to give me the photo strips. Okay, so again, under here, I could pick copy 2, and also I can click setup printer and go through the setup printer, and I'm lagging here. Come on. And now my Hi-Ti is not going to want to respond to me. And that's fine. And wonderful. Okay. So I'm gonna cancel out of that. Maybe I'm gonna cancel out of that. I'm actually team viewed into one of my machines right now, so it's causing a little issue. Come on. Let's close it down completely. Let's try to kill it. There we go. That's unusual. Breeze hardly ever locks up on me. So we have photo booth setup wizard. We have print layout, and we have advanced settings. So I typically jump to advanced settings. If you did the photo booth layout, it's pretty much going to walk you through all of this stuff. But we'll just hop into advanced settings, and then if we have time after we cover everything, we can go through the wizard. Okay, so this is your main screen here. You can change a lot of your features from this main screen here. First off, we have number of images. So if you're doing photo strips, like a 3-up strip, you would just put 3 here. If you're doing 1 4x6, this is where you would just put 1. Inactivity timeout. So inactivity timeout is a feature where you can have your photo booth go to sleep after a certain amount of time. Why would you want to do this? Well, you don't want live view running all the time. Let's say you sell somebody an idle hour where you run the booth for 2 hours and then you have an idle hour. We could set this to 120 seconds. So after 2 minutes of nobody using the booth, the photo booth will just go to sleep. It'll show a sleep screen, and we can program buttons in there to wake that up, and we can fully customize the sleep screen as well. So delay before taking first photo. So basically, once you click the start button for your photo booth, this is how long before you take the first photo. In this instance, it's set for 1 second, probably because I was testing, and then delay before taking remaining photos. So after it takes the first photo, how long do you want it? How long do you want it to take the next photo? Sometimes the first photo I'll set for like maybe 3 seconds because people can already see live view. And then the remaining photos I might set for 5 seconds to give them more time. No matter how long you set it for, it never seems like enough time. Image preview time, this is for you to display images after the photo is taken. So if you want people to see what the individual photo looks like once they take it, you can set up an image preview time. And minimum time to display processing screen. If you want to display a print processing screen, you can set a time to do that here. All of these screens that we're talking about, they're going to be customizable, and we will look at the ones that Breeze provided, and photoboothtalk.com actually gave us some custom screens to take a look at. Okay, text displayed when counting down to take photos. So this is by default. This basically says taking photo and image number. So taking photo 1 of 4 in 5 seconds. You know, so these tokens, these @ symbols, you can find out what they are through the help file. So if you're curious, if you wanted to say something else instead of the default, or if you just want to delete it altogether, you can do that. I've always just left it default. I've never really changed it. And the font to which this will appear is here. And here's the color of the font. And offset, 0 is auto. So it usually puts it right below your live view. Sometimes that's not a good enough place for it. So you can put in a different number for offset, and it will lower the, because you're never going to want to raise it up. You're not going to want it to be in the middle of your live view. So offset is how far below your live view it's going to be. And then here we go. So next we have enable live view in full screen mode. So we're going to go ahead and enable live view in full screen mode. Here's the height of the live view again, and left offset and top offset. So if I want to lower the live view, if I want to move the live view over to the left, or if I want to move the live view over to the right, I can do all of that. You know, it all depends on how big your screen is, and it depends on if you have custom screens. That depends on what kind of live view you're going to want to set up. Disable live view when taking photo, so you can actually turn the live view off when you take the photo. This is just an optional if you would like to check it. I usually have this checked. Only display live view for first shot, so exactly what it says. If you only want to display the live view for the first photo, and then the other 3 or 4 photos, if you don't want to display the live view, you don't have to. I typically display the live view for all photos. People love it. It's part of the whole photo booth process. Show progress bar when printing. I never really checked that, but it would give you a progress bar of how your how much longer you have to print. But a lot of our printers only take what 8 to 10 to 12 seconds anyway. Mirror live view images. This is so when people move left, they actually move left and they don't move right, and it doesn't mess everybody up. Again, it's an option. Disable live view when printing. I typically disable live view when printing. I don't want live view to run more than it has to. External flash mode. So if you are using an external flash, which you should be using an external flash, some sort of like Alien Bees or Newer or some sort of studio strobe, or even if it's a speed light, you need to check external flash. A lot of people say, hey, my photos are coming out completely black. I don't know what's going on. They don't have external flash mode on. Clicker mode, I don't think I've ever used clicker mode. I believe it has something to do with actually you having like a pointer or a clicker to take the photos. And what we can do is we can actually go to the help menu and verify what that is. Auto WB is auto white balance. And then you have auto standby. I don't have auto standby on. I have an inactivity timeout instead of auto standby. So these look like my typical settings. So everything we have here. Let me make some changes here. So far from here on up, these look like my typical. Settings for a standard photo booth. Start full screen photo booth mode automatically when camera connects. I don't do that because if your camera's on and you open up DSLR Remote Pro, it automatically boots into the photo booth and you have to exit out of it. Maybe if you were sending this along with an attendant and you had everything set up perfectly and you don't need to make any changes, that would be fine. You could just, you could open up, or you could have it start automatically. So then basically you just fire up the booth, and if your printer settings and everything are correct, you'll be good to go. Let's see. Okay. Start options. Left click anywhere to start, keyboard only, click top left to start, click to start, right click to toggle. So these are options where if you, for whatever reason, you're not going to want to use a touch screen to start, you can use your mouse to start, where maybe you're lining people up or people aren't close to the screen. Typically, I go with touchscreen. I think everything I have has a touchscreen in it. And so let's take a look at our touchscreen settings. Okay, touchscreen settings. Basically, let's show our touchscreen area. This is our touchscreen area. If you notice here, I have a 0 here, and I have a 900 here. I have a 0 here, and I have a 1600 here. So the resolution of my screen is going to be 1600 by 900. So any sort of images that I'm going to be loading in for my screens need to be at a 1600 by 900. They need to be a 1600 by 900 resolution. Here you'll notice I have color, black and white, toned, start photo boost, fast reprint, and then I have toggle standby mode up here, and toggle standby mode doesn't have a button to it. So remember I said that you could have your photo booth go to sleep after 120 seconds. Well, here I have an invisible button that I would click. So my live view is going to be here. Here's going to be an invisible button that will go in and out of sleep mode. So if my photo booth does go to sleep, I can just hit this button in the corner and it's going to wake it up again. So color, black and white, toned, start, and reprint. You'll notice start actually says start photo booth, reprint says fast reprint photos, but toned says profile 4, black and white says profile 2, and color says profile 1. I'm going to right click and I'm going to exit out of here for a moment. So you have a whole list of options here on what you want your buttons to do. You can customize your screen to do absolutely whatever you want it to do. So the first button was color. If you choose color photo booth start and I was to hit the color button, it's going to select color mode and it's going to start the photo booth right away. What I like to do is I like to go with select color mode. The second button was select profile 2. We don't want profile 2. We're going to, I guess we'll delete it. We're going to right click. We're going to add the action. And this one, we're going to want to select black and white mode. Okay. And the newer Breeze systems let us click and drag. So select black and white mode. Right click, delete, right click, add action. And we're going to add, select toning. Okay. And tone. Bam, right there. And then exit. And black and white toning overlap start photo booth. So they're saying there's a little overlap right here. So if I just move it over a little bit, and there we go. Having that overlap is honestly no big deal. So then I'm going to do an exit and save edited touchscreen settings. Yes, of course. Okay, so these are everything I've had. You can also, like if we go through these buttons, color start, black and white start, 1 copy of prints, 2 copy of prints, increase number of prints, decrease number of prints. So you could have a profile where it lets you select a certain amount of prints. We'll probably do another webinar that gets heavily into profiles, but we will touch base on these. But you can go through these and bounce in between photo booth mode, video mode, printing modes, reprint screens, tons and tons and tons of different options available in here. Okay, so I think we're cool on touchscreen settings. Output, this is how do you want to output your images. You can do JPEGs only, print in JPEGs, or print only. Typically I do print in JPEG, or if I need to run my images through a hot folder, or I need to do something special with my images, I might do JPEG only. but I'm going to go ahead and say print and save JPEG. And under the settings here, you can, under your output options, you can actually tell it if you need to do anything special. Facebook upload email photos, copy JPEG to folder, and you can crop the images or you can resize the image. So if you had a 3-up photo strip, and of course, whenever you print a 3-up photo strip, it's going to be on a 4x6. Let's say you only want to, let's say you want to make a copy of that, but so it's a single strip. This is where you could do it here. You could select copy to JPEG to folder and crop the image and make it so you'd only be sending a single photo strip to your sharing station. And number of copies to print. This is a default. So how many copies do you want to print by default? I typically leave it at 1. And settings. So under custom layout and settings, this is where you're going to choose what kind of layout you're going to have. So preset layouts, there's a bunch of preset layouts already. Double strip of 3. So you notice right away that it's in landscape. So why is it in landscape? It's in landscape because my printer is in landscape, right? So I need to switch my printer over to portrait, click OK. This didn't change. I'm going to go back to preset layouts, select double strip of 3, and bam, I am now in a double strip of 3, and I'm good to go. I can set up my printer from here. I can also import overlays and backgrounds. So if I import an overlay, these ones I don't think line up right. Let's try it. Okay, so here is a import overlay for something we did. I think this was like a rough draft, but this, instead of being an overlay, should have just been a background and the photos could have laid on top of it. But this is where you would import an overlay, and you can also import backgrounds from this button here. And finally, where are you going to save all of your files? Where you save your files is kind of important. Are you going to be reusing these files? Are you going to be setting them up again each time? So in this instance, it's saving to C:\Del4 light painting. Let's go take a look there real quick. Here's a Del3 Dropbox, Del4. All right, so in my Del4 photo, I've got green screen landscape. I've got cat festival, light painting, profile 1 2x6. I've got a bunch of different profiles in here. This one just happens to be looking at light painting, and light painting here has got rough copies of screens that I've made, video screens, and it's got my ready screens. So this is the folder that contains my screen layouts. It contains my overlay images. I actually keep my profiles in here. This is the folder that's going to contain all of the information that I need. So what is a profile? I guess would be the next question. So with Breeze, you can have multiple profiles, and a profile is just a layout of how you want your booth to operate. So you can have a profile that's made for 2x6 photos. You can have a profile that is made for 4x6 photos. You can have a profile that is a welcome screen or a ready screen for you. You can have green screen profiles. You can have multiple profiles. And here you'll notice I have Del4 green screen landscape 1. I've got green screen landscape 3 loaded in. I've got light painting here. So all of these were probably linked to a main profile, and let's see if we can find it. Profile 1 ready screen, maybe. Let's take a look and see. Oh yeah, so we did the Internet Cat Video Festival, and we did a green screen for that. So we had multiple images of cats. It was quite the event. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to Profile 1 Ready Screen. I'm gonna say Open. Okay, so I loaded in my profile 1 ready screen down here in profile 18. Down here, default profile loaded at startup and after each shooting sequence. So after you finish a shooting sequence, what do you want your Breeze system to load? You can have your Breeze system just load the exact same thing you just shot, or you can have your Breeze system go to a special profile. And that profile may take you to a screen that allows you to select a certain number of prints, or it may allow you to select 4x6 photos or 2x6 photos. It can allow you to select many, many different options. So I'm going to say load profile. I can only load 1 through 8. So I'm just going to come over here to 8. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say load profile 8. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to say, so we've made a lot of changes here. After you make a change, you have to save. You have to save. So I'm going to do save. Do you wish to save the current printer settings with the photo booth settings? Sure, because I did make some changes. Now, mine is Dslr light painting. This says profile 1 ready screen ready. I actually name photos, or I name folders for all of my individual profiles. So light painting, this is where I'm going to save. It already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So, okay, I went ahead and replaced it there. And I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to throw a battery in my camera. And we're going to see, we're going to fire it up. I'm remoted in, so this should work. Let's see here. Okay, camera. Rebel T3i. Okay, I put in my camera and it still says not connected. I don't have it set to auto reconnect. So I'm just going to do connect to camera. Connecting. All right, cool. So got a T3i, battery at 80%. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do a start photo booth. Bam. So choose your background, right meow. So like I said, this was for the Internet Cat Video Festival. And here, so when you touch this picture here, this is going to take you to profile 1, right? If you hit the button here, it's going to take you to profile 2. If you're going to hit the button here, it's going to take you to profile 3. If you hit the button here, it's going to take you to profile 4. So each one of these little icons are all different profiles. And down at the bottom here, it says touch here for next page. I'm not sure if all of these are still set up, but I'm going to try to touch one. Okay, so it looks like it is kind of set up. You can see where this is right over here, how this lamp's kind of green, and it's trying to pull up a green screen. I just don't have a green screen set up where I'm at. So I'm gonna go back there, and while we're looking at this, I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna hit. I'm not gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit Control G, and I'm gonna pull up my green screen options. Okay, so this is how you pull up your green screen options when you're using DSLR Remote Pro. Green threshold. Green threshold. Let's see if I can get that lamp to come in. Okay, you can see how it's moving back and forth with the grain. Again. Look at that there. Okay, so just by adjusting my green threshold, actually this looks like Busch Stadium, part of Busch Stadium there. This is how I adjust the green screen settings, of course, with your, depending on what kind of light you have. Okay, background images. So where are my background images for this? Well, this one is in green screen 4x6 landscape 3. And the file is called greenscreen_background.jpg. It has to be called greenscreen_background.jpg so Breeze knows where to look for it. I have enable green screen display, and I have save copy of green screen photos in photo booth mode. Adjust position of photo within background. I could take the individual person, and I can move him. You know, you can shrink people down, you can move them and place them in different places on the screen. So that's what those features were under the green screen options. Okay, so that's kind of a look on how the profiles work. So let's go take a look again. So I'm going to load the ready screen. So I'm going to load profile 1, ready, open. Okay, so now I've loaded up the profile ready screen. So remember, this is the screen where it showed the 8 videos of the cats. And you'll notice that live view is not checked, right? Because I don't want live view on for that screen. And you'll notice this is set to profile 1 ready screen because this is where it's looking for all of those settings. Under custom layout, oops, I don't have it wants me to, it says hi tie P15L copy 7 is not defined. Please use printer setup. So select a printer. It does not like whatever I had. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to say save. Yes. What am I on? I'm on, oops. I'm going to go load profile 1 ready screen. I'm going to say okay. Printer setup. I'm going to say copy. What printer am I using? This is probably why you should use the same USB port every time. I'm using copy 2. Copy 2. Okay. Advanced settings. Save. Yes. I want to make sure I'm saving profile 1 ready screen. Profile 1 ready screen. So save. Yes. Okay. Custom layout. Going to settings. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to go to touchscreen. Okay. So here's my touchscreen. Show touchscreen areas. All right. So check it out. When you hit this button here, we're going to go with profile 2, profile 3, profile 4, profile 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. At the bottom here, it says select profile 18. So obviously I have profile 18 set to jump to a different ready screen. So I'm going to right click and exit. Okay. Okay. I'm going to start the photo booth again. I'm going to try that touch here for next page. And I'm touching and nothing is happening. And let's see why not. Because I probably don't have all the profiles set up properly. Like I said, this was old. I've made a lot of changes to this. So let's see. So I guess I didn't send the right link for Google Hangout, so people can't ask questions. I'm curious if the people have questions. So maybe we can do a we can hop on Facebook, I guess, and I don't know the best way to do this. Start a chat on Facebook. If somebody wants to tag me in a comment, if you guys have questions, I'll hop in there, and other people can jump in the thread. And so yeah, so if you have questions, go ahead and it's .gray. Go ahead and just tag me in a Facebook comment, and I will try my best to answer that. And in the meantime, we'll hop into some GIF action. So I'm going to put this down here. All right, so let's talk about how we do, or I'm sorry, GIFs. Let's talk about how we do GIFs with Breeze. All right, so Dropbox, Dslr, Dl3. I just want to give you guys an idea of, so here's what the final prints folder is going to look like whenever you take a photo. You're going to have an XML document, and you're going to have the original full-size JPEG. You're going to have a prints folder, and then you're going to have a green screen folder. So if you have green screen images, that's where green screen is going to go. Prints are going to be your printed photos with your overlays. or and these are just going to be your single high-res images. So that's kind of what your event folders are going to look like. All right, so with that being said, we are going to try to load some GIFs into Breeze. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up Breeze. Okay, so I'll pull up the main page of Breeze, and I'm going to go to, let's go to Photo Booth Software, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go here to Reprinting and Customization. And if you need a link, I can send the link to you guys. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, and Breeze has a bunch of scripts that you can run. They're all used running Autohotkey. Sounds crazy, sounds like it could be complicated. It's pretty simple. It's been pretty dumbed down. It's pretty easy to use. There's a bunch of things you can run. Photo booth stills, photo booth processing overlay, photo booth option screens. I haven't done a lot of these. What I have done is animated GIFs with animated overlays. So we're going to need to download two things. First thing we're going to have to download is Autohotkey. What is Autohotkey? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and download. I believe actually, I don't know if I have this downloaded on this machine. So I'm going to download that. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to download Photo Booth Animated GIF 2.zip. Okay, it looks like that's downloading as well. All right, cool. So now that I've got these two downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and run this. Maybe. Okay, so it's already installed. So it's basically a simple installation. So it's already installed. So then we're going to do this guy here. I'm going to open up this file. All right, Photo Booth Animated GIF. So we've got quite a few files in here, including a README document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract all, and I'm going to browse, and I'm going to extract this into the folder where I keep everything for this particular booth. So Del 3, where am I on Del 4? So Del 4, I'm going to say there. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call GIFs. All right, cool. Okay, and I'm going to say extract. Bam. All right, cool. So now I have Autohotkey installed, and I have my GIFs installed. And first thing I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to go README. Okay. So this basically tells you how to start the script. Basically, all you're going to do is you're going to take this guy here, you're going to double click him, and it's going to say, please select the item below to enable the script, DSLR Remote Flow for Windows. Check that box, click OK, click close. That's it. Now I'm going to make GIFs with every photo booth session that I have, just like that. What if you need to tweak them? What if you need to make some changes to your actual GIFs? Well, you can do that as well. It's not as extensive as maybe like a photo booth upload, or at least we've had this issue where I don't know that you can actually position the GIF in a photo a certain way, like if you were trying to fill in a special template. But let's take a look. So I'm going to right click on this. This is actual Autohotkey file, and I'm going to say edit script. If you don't have edit script, you could right click it and say open with Notepad. This is going to give you a bunch of README stuff in the top here. You can go through and read all this. It tells you, look, if you want to add overlays, this is how you name them. If you want to add a title screen, this is what you do. If you want to do backgrounds and things like that. If you want to make MP4 movie files, there's a script for MP4 movie files. If you want to loop, if you want to do green screen, if you want to crop, it's all in there. And if we scroll down a little more, This is where Chris Breeze actually starts writing some of the code. And anything with a semicolon in front of it is a comment. So right here it says, resize the photo to this width. It's going to resize the photos to 400 pixels. Auto mode for DSLR remote flow stills, capture back rate, okay. Crop image too, so if you want to crop it, you can, if it's not 0. So you could actually put your size in here if you wanted to size, otherwise leave it 0. Here's one, rotate images clockwise for portraits, set this to 90 or 270. So do you want them rotated or not? So this is one feature that you can add on is rotating them. So by default, it looks like it is set for portrait at 90 degrees. So we'll just go ahead and see what that does for when we have a GIF. And then if you have a title screen, how long to display? How long to display each photo? 1/60th of a second. Subfolder name where the GIF is saved. So it's going to save it to a folder called GIF. Number of overlay animations to display per photo. Set this to 1 if there are no overlays. So it's right now it's set to 1. But if you wanted to do snowflakes and you wanted to have 2 or 3 snowflake animations displayed per photo, this is where you would change the number. And then it kind of gets into more and more and more and more stuff. So we're just going to leave it all default for now and see what we get. One thing you are going to have to do is remember, we always tell Breeze, where to look for our images, right? Our overlay images, our layout images, things like that. So what we're going to have to do is I'm going to go ahead and load a profile, and I'm going to load profile 1 2x6. This is probably like a standard profile I have. So open. So number of images 3, delay before taking first photo, I'm going to say 1. Delay before taking next photo, I'm going to say 1. Image preview time, I'm going to say 0. Only because I want to move this up. I want to speed this up. Live view's cool, blah, blah. That looks fine. Touchscreen, let me just check my touchscreen settings real quick. Yep, color, black and white, toning, start. Look at this. Here's a secret button. This is great. If you don't have a keyboard, you're going to need something like this. So exit full screen photo booth mode and toggle standby mode. These buttons are hidden. You can't see them, but they are there. So I'm gonna get out of there. Output, okay. Custom layout. I'm not really worried about any of this. Actually, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna say delete. Yes. I'm gonna say preset layouts. Okay. Printer setup is gonna be portrait. Okay. Preset layout again. Okay, so I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth until I get what I want here. It looks like I have it. So I'm good there. Okay, so I've made all of these changes. Again, I need to save. So save, yes. Saving, where am I saving? Profile 1 2x6, profile 1 2x6. Save, okay. I'm gonna go down to my profiles here. I'm gonna add this one as profile 6. And I'm gonna tell this to load profile 6 every time. I'm gonna say okay. Save, yes, save. All right, cool. Now that I know where I'm saving everything, I'm going to take these overlays and I'm going to copy these. Here. I'm going to copy these to my profile 2 screen. All right, I'm going to throw those in there. And let's see what happens, shall we? We're going to start the photo booth. We're going to say, we're going to do, I can hit black and white, right? I'm black and white. I'm in toned. I'm in color. Start. So 5, 4, 3. I'm done. That was pretty quick. Let's get out of there. Let's go to Del 3. Now I totally forgot where I told this to save photos. Oh, it's actually saving to the desktop. Look at that, desktop, new folder 2. Okay, so it's saving by today's date. All right, cool, today's date. All right, look at this. So I've only taken one photo today. Here's my print, looks amazing. Here are the individual prints, right? And then here's my GIF. And I'll double click on my GIF. And I'm going to do, okay, so it's in portrait, right? Because I told it to be in portrait. I knew better. I didn't want it in portrait, but I'm going to open with Internet Explorer. There it goes. So it's only displaying one of my overlays, like right, one set of snowflakes per image, because I told it to only display one per image. So let's see what happens if we, let's tweak it a little bit. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going here, and I'm going to say edit script. And this time I'm going to say, do not rotate. No. And I want you to do, how many do I have? I have 12 overlays. So let's do 4. Let's do 4 overlay animations per photo. File, save. I'm not sure if I have to restart anything or not. Let's just let's restart it for good measure. Start. Color. Start. Okay. Escape out of that and go back. Oops, new folder 2. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, cool. So edit, open with, I'm going to choose my default, and I'm just going to make this Internet Explorer. Look at that. Bam. So it actually looks like it's snowing. So 4 overlay animations per photo. And it's got the Christmas overlay GIF text. So let's take a look at those. Let's take a look at those files again here real quick, just for those of you that might have questions. I'm already there. So, okay, so my GIF overlay _1, right? These are my actual snowflakes. GIF _logo. Those are my actual, that's my actual text that's popping up on top of there. So this is for photo 1, that's for photo 2, that's for photo 3, that's for photo 4. Didn't have 4 photos, so it's only going to use 1, 2, and 3. If I didn't have, if I only wanted 1 logo through the whole thing, I could just leave it on logo. All right, so that's how you use GIFs. So you can have these, you can have Breeze make these every single time and have them make them in the background. Well, this is 784 kilobytes. So just under a meg. You know, if you have 300, well, it's going to take up under 300 meg, 275 meg or so. So it's not going to take up a lot of space. I let mine make GIFs all the time. I just let it run. So no big deal. Okay, so then I guess there's one other thing I want to show you guys. And Cherie from photoboothtalk.com gave me some backgrounds that I can use to show you guys some stuff. And I don't know where I put them. Okay, let me look here. Give me just a second here. And let's see, I thought I had some. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to make a new folder. on my desktop, and I'm going to call it test. I'm going to extract all of these. And I'm going to browse, and I'm going to save them to test on my desktop, and I'm going to say extract. So I'm a member of photoboothtalk.com. I use all of them for my templates. Been a member since they started. Cherie there runs the site. She has awesome templates. They're very good. I would recommend them. You do have to know how to use Photoshop. I do have a couple of videos out there that will help you if you need it. But let's take a look at what she did here. So she's got she's made her own custom screens. Okay, it looks like for an event. So the thing to remember is the custom screens that you have need to match your screen resolution, right? If you have a screen you made that's 1024 by 768 and you're running on a 1920 by 1080 screen, it's not going to show up right. So I'm going to open this. Let's use window photo viewer. So photo 1 of 3. Okay. Here's the profile. This is an XML file. It's a Breeze profile. Here's an overlay made. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and open up Breeze. We're going to go to advanced settings. And I'm going to kind of make this, I'm going to set this one up. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say desktop test. Okay. So I just told Breeze, hey Breeze, I want you to look in the test folder right over here. So I'm good there. Now I'm going to go to custom layout. I'm going to click settings. Bam. So because the overlay was already in the folder, and because the overlay was already in the folder, and let me go back. Sorry. So because the overlay was already in the folder, and because the overlay was called overlay, Breeze already knew to import it for you. Okay, if this wasn't called overlay and it was called overlay 1 or it was called overlay 5000, it would not auto import it. But because it's called overlay, it's going to auto import it for you. So all I have to do now is just move these photos around. The box is a little bigger. You know, I can resize if I wanted to. Also, when you move around, Breeze is going to give you a lineup line. I think you saw that red line. It was in there somewhere. There it is. Make sure all your photos are lined up. So, you know, I can move these boxes around. I'm just doing this real quick. If you are trying to set exact coordinates for these boxes, you can click this right here and move to center, angle, height, all of those features. I can turn the overlay off. I can turn it back on. So I'm going to say OK. So I'm going to do 3 photos. I'm going to do one set. Let's kick this up to 5. Okay, 5, image preview time 2, processing screen 2, just to show you what this stuff does. Enable live view and full screen. I don't have an external flash. I have a white balance, touchscreen. What are my settings here? Let's see if I have any settings. Show edit area. Okay, so here, you know, it kept my old touchscreen settings, but she has just a single start button up here. I'm just going to grab my start button here and I'm going to move it right up here. Right? That's all I really have to do. All of these buttons are going to be there. They're going to work. They're just going to be hidden. So I'm going to exit. Yes, I'm going to save. I'm going to say OK. And I got my layout. It's going to print. Let's check and see my printer setup. High-tie copy 3. I can't for the life of me ever remember which one is on here. I think it's 2. So high-tie 2. So I'm going to say high-tie copy 2. And I'm going to say portrait. Cool. Setup. Got to make sure it's set to do prints. It is set to do prints. OK. Save. Yes, I want to save it. Do I want to save it here? No. I prefer to save it to my desktop in this folder. And they have one already called JJ Lopez. I'm going to call it test. Right. Profile 7. I want it to load profile 7 after every sequence. So, okay. Save it again. Test. Yes. Okay. All right, so let's start and let's see if I did that right, and let's see what happens. Cool. So here we are. We have our live view in the middle. Again, remember that I have my let me change something here. Give me just a second. Whoa. All right. So don't get sick here. All right. So there's my booth, and I can hit here. I can hit here for black and white. I can hit here for toned, or I can hit here for sleep. So it's in standby mode. I can wake it up from standby mode, and I can hit exit here. Okay. So, whoa, my bad. Give me just a second. I want to try to switch back to screen share. You can tell I'm not a professional. My bad, people. My bad. Okay, so I just kind of want to show you. That was a horrible view, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to start the photo booth. And I'm going to press start. So you'll notice, look right here. Look right here. Taking photo 1 of 3 in 2 secs. You see that? And it displayed a release screen. So I don't have a release photo. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to say advanced settings. And I'm going to want this in, I'm going to say put this text in black. And I'm going to say offset this by 50. I'm going to save it, save it. I'm saving in test. Yes, save, yes. Okay, cool. Start photo booth, start. And whoa, and it moved it way up to the top there. What did I do? Offset. Let's see. Play around with some settings here to find out what I need to do. Okay, so I made the offset at 700 because the live view height was 500, right? And I want to be below the live view height, so I set it at 700. So let's set it at 750. Let's save it. And yes, and test. Save, yes, okay. Start the photo booth. I'm going to press the start button. So taking photo 1 of 3. I cannot have that there at all because they actually have, Cherie actually has her own photo 1, photo 2, photo 3 already in there. So I don't need to have that text in there. But also it said I was missing a release screen, right? It said, hey, you're missing a release.jpg. Cool. If I want a quick fix for my release screen, I'm just going to say copy. I'm going to say paste. And I'm just going to call this release. Okay. You want, so it said there's already a release in here. Here it is. But notice the release, it doesn't look like the other ones. It doesn't look like this file loaded all the way. I'm going to delete that out of there. Release. And this ready screen here, that's our Photoshop file. So we're almost done, guys. I appreciate you being here. Let's start it again. I'm going to hit start. And okay, so that's the release screen there. See how it went totally blank? Typically on the release screen, I would do something like this. Like look up at the camera, you know. So that's while the camera's actually releasing the shutter. Guys, I guess that's about it. That's like a full hour That's how you do GIFs. That's how you set up basic Breeze. I'd like to do another one of these next week. Maybe we could go over hot folders, or we could go over profiles in depth, or we could go over more of what Breeze has to offer. But I hope this was worth your time. I hope that you learned something from this. Again, on Facebook, I am Doc Gray. I am here to help you if you need help. I'm here to answer questions if you have anything. So thanks a lot, guys, and I think that's it.